Right, so problems are a huge part of everybody's life. So therefore, it is absolutely crucial that you learn how to effectively deal and solve your problems. So that is exactly what I wanted to create this video on, because most people, unfortunately, do not know how to solve problems. You might think that you know how to solve a problem by just acknowledging it and being aware of the problem, and then just Googling a solution, figuring out what you can do to solve the problem, and then just doing that. But no, that is not how you solve the problem. That is how you solve mainstream, surface level problems. Problems that are easy and aren't really that big of a problem if we are being real. So if you want to consider yourself someone who is actually good at solving problems, you don't just want to have the ability to clarify the problem and then Google your solution and think that that is enough with the action, of course, because it is not. That is not how you solve the most complicated and difficult problems that you have. So therefore, I am creating this video in which I will teach you how to effectively solve all of your problems, even the most complicated and difficult ones, with my own method that I am using for actually solving my problems. That method I call the PRS method, and that is exactly what I'm going to show you in just a moment. But if you like these videos and you think that there is value to gain by watching my content, be sure to subscribe. It really helps me a lot with actually getting these videos out to more people, as well as join my private community life club, in which I help people become a better version of themselves so that they can live a better life. Now, I don't want to make this video too long, so let me just get right started with the PRS method. Alright, so I'm here inside of Google Docs, and this is how to solve all of your problems with the PRS methods. So what PRS stands for is problem, root cause, solution. And that's because that all we are going to focus on is the problem, then the root cause, and then the solution. And this is essentially just a way of journaling. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So first I have a surface level example right here, and then we're going to look at an in-depth example right here. And the reason I want to show you this is because if you do this only on a surface level, then you are not going to get to the real root cause that you need to know in order to actually solve the problem with the action that is, necessary. But if you do go in depth and you figure out the real root cause for your main problem, then you are going to be able to get to the real solution, the solution that will actually solve your problem. So let me quickly just go through this right here so that you can see a comparison between going in depth and just going pretty much on the surface level when it comes to your problems. So on the surface level, this is how it will look. You have your problem. For example, I am dumb. You think you're dumb. Then you have the root cause, which is you haven't educated myself enough. For example, right? I haven't educated myself enough. Then the solution will obviously be to educate myself more if I actually have this problem, right? So let's go in depth on this example here. Problem, I am dumb. Root cause, I haven't educated myself enough. Root cause for that will be learning is hard. Root cause for that, I can't focus. Root cause for that, I get distracted by my phone, right? Which is why I can't focus, which is why learning is hard, which is why I haven't educated myself enough, which is why I feel like I am dumb. And then the solution to I get distracted by my phone will obviously be to put down the phone or put it into another room so I can educate myself more without being distracted. So these two examples here pretty much just show that if you have this problem right here, that you think you are dumb, it's the same as here, but here the solution is, pretty surface. It's pretty much just on the surface. You need to educate yourself more. Whereas here, the solution is actually more in depth and specific. Therefore, you know exactly what to do in order to solve the problem. This is why you need to follow the PRS method instead of just acknowledging the problem and then thinking or asking ChatGPT or asking a mentor or whoever, right, for the solution. That is not the way that you solve actual difficult and complex problems. You need to go through this PRS method right here. You acknowledge the problem, then you come to the root cause and you go in depth by asking, for the root cause, for the root cause, for the root cause, for the root cause, right? So root cause here, root cause for that, root cause for that, root cause for that, right? You get the point. So that you can essentially get to the right solution after going super in depth as much as you possibly feel is necessary, right? So that is the PRS method. This is the method that you're going to use if you actually want to be good and competent at solving your problems. Right, so I wanted to also just include 2 bonus tips that will help you get to the actual root cause a lot faster, or at least a lot more efficiently. One is that you have clear language. It is so important that you actually write down your words clearly, right? So when you write down problem, I'm not healthy enough, and the root cause for that is that you don't get enough sunlight, that is a pretty vague and bad answer. Why? Because you're using the word enough. It is not specific. What is enough? That is the literal question that will be in your mind. What is enough? Like, what does enough mean? Because I don't get enough sunlight. That could mean like I don't get 2,000-3,000 IUs a day of sunlight to somebody, but to me that could mean 5 or 10,000 IUs, right? Which is what vitamin D is measured in, right? Which is essentially why you want to get sunlight. But the point is that enough is not a specific word. So please, when you do this, don't use the word enough. Like, the problem shouldn't be I'm not healthy enough. The problem should be I'm not this healthy, right? You want to be specific with how healthy you want to be if this is the case, or with how much sunlight you actually want to get. And then secondly, your root cause must be in your control, which is what 99% is, right? 99% of root causes will be in your control. But you want to still make sure and actually think and make sure that your root cause is in your control. Why? Because let's say that your problem was, in this case, also that you're not healthy enough. A good root cause will be that you don't get enough sunlight, because that is fixable. You can actually go out and get more sunlight, or move to another country where there is more sun, or make the kind of money that you need to make in order to actually go to that country, right? It is possible that you can place yourself in a better situation where you normally get more sunlight than you do right now. But let's say your root cause was you have unhealthy genes. Like, I have unhealthy genetics. That you cannot change. Therefore, this is a wrong root cause. And please, I'm not saying that every single problem that you have is solvable or isn't solvable. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is just that if you come across one of these answers here, like, please ignore it and see if there is another root cause or something else that you can do to actually solve the issue. So please just ignore the bad root causes, or acknowledge that the problem isn't fixable in the end after you've, really given it some thought. And yeah, just be aware that you aren't, going too much into these bad root causes that you can't really control. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch more content like this, go down and subscribe. And if you want to join Life Club, I really appreciate those who decide to join. Remember, I am working my ass off to give you guys a lot of value inside of Life Club. So if you want to be a part of that, if you want to be in a position where you can actually receive my help, be sure to check it out down, top link in the description. But yeah, everyone, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. God bless all of you, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.